There are very few symbols in the world as iconic as WWE Championship belts.
Rollins with the title! Wait a minute! Seth Rollins!
Be it the legendary Winged Eagle Championship, the Big Gold, or the classic Intercontinental Championship, WWE World titles have always represented the pinnacle of pro wrestling.
WWE World Heavyweight title.
But have you ever wondered who actually makes these belts and how exactly are these belts made? Well, behind the glitz and glamour, there's a little-known craft and industry that most people don't know about. So in this video, I'll take you behind the scenes of this underground industry of WWE Championship belts and show you the entire 5-step process of how WWE Championship belts are made, along with little-known facts about these belts that you've never heard before. But before we get into the details, we need to answer a key question. Why belts? Why not rings? Why not trophies or medals? Why belts of all things? Well, to find the answer, we need to take a quick trip in history to see why championship belts became the symbol of excellence in wrestling in the first place. You see, championship belts have a rich history that spans over 200 years. They didn't actually start in wrestling. They came from boxing in the early 1800s. It all began in 1810 when British boxer Tom Cribb defeated American boxer Tom Molyneux in a grueling 35-round fight. As a reward, King George III presented Cribb with what historians consider the first championship belt. Legend says it was made of lion skin decorated with silver claws. Some think it started because boxers used to bring colored cloths to tie around their waists or to ring posts before fights. Winners would take their opponent's colors and wear them like a belt to show their victory. This tradition stuck, and belts became the standard prize in boxing. When professional wrestling emerged as a competitive sport in the late 19th century, it borrowed many things from boxing, including championship belts. The first recognized wrestling championship was created in 1905, with George Hackenschmidt becoming the first world heavyweight wrestling champion. Early WWE belts were simple, just basic leather straps with small metal plates. During Bruno Sammartino's legendary 7-year reign in the 1960s, the design was nothing fancy, featuring just the shape of the United States on leather. The focus was more on the wrestling and less on flashy props. But as wrestling transformed from a straight-ahead sport to entertainment with larger-than-life characters, the belts evolved too. The 1980s brought us the iconic Winged Eagle belt during the Golden Era, perfectly matching the era's colorful personalities like Macho Man Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan, and the Ultimate Warrior. The 1990s and early 2000s gave us the Big Gold belt.
You are looking at pure class. But wait just one moment.
Originally from the NWA WCW,
24-karat gold, silver, diamonds, and rubies.
And later, the spinner belt, which reflected the flashy, ruthless aggression era. The spinner belt was originally designed for John Cena, but stayed around long after his character stopped spinning it. Throughout WWE history, title changes have become more frequent. In the 1980s, the WWF title changed hands only 8 times total. Compare that to now, where we've seen over 40 different championship runs just since 2010. Some wrestlers even got custom belts that reflected their unique personalities. Stone Cold Steve Austin had his Smoking Skull belt, The Rock introduced personalized side plates in 2013, and Bray Wyatt's Fiend character had a creepy custom Universal Championship with his face on it.
I love my new toy!
The most recent era has seen WWE standardize their belt designs with similar templates across their main championships. In 2014, they introduced the WWE World Heavyweight Championship with the network logo.
John Cena is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion!
And in 2016, launched the Universal Championship with its distinctive red strap.
Universal Championship!
Each design change tells the story of wrestling's evolution, from regional attraction to global phenomenon. The belts aren't just prizes, they're physical timelines of wrestling history itself. But who makes these belts, and what does the process look like? When you see wrestlers proudly holding those shiny championship belts above their heads, you might think they're made in some big factory with heavy machinery, but the truth is quite different. Creating WWE Championship belts is more like making fine jewelry than standard manufacturing. It's a detailed art form mastered by only a handful of artisans in the United States. Dave Milliken is one of the main belt makers for WWE today.
I make belts for the biggest companies and collectors all over the world. Of course, My biggest customer is WWE.
Working from his garage workshop, he creates many of the belts you see on television, including the WWE Championship, World Heavyweight Championship, and Intercontinental title.
From the WWE title, the World Heavyweight Championship big gold belt, the Intercontinental title, the tag team titles.
Milliken learned his craft from Reggie Parks.
Taking me under his wing had everything to do with my development, even my initial respect in this business from the veterans. Everybody knew Reggie Parks, nobody knew Dave Milliken.
A former wrestler who became a master belt maker and created the iconic Winged Eagle belt of the 1980s.
What belt you thought was the best belt, whether it was the Winged Eagle, whether it was the Domed Globe?
Process starts with design. WWE has specific ideas about what they want a championship to represent. For example, the current WWE Championship reflects the global corporate image of the brand with its prominent logo in the center. The United States Championship maintains patriotic symbolism, while custom belts like Bray Wyatt's Fiend Universal Championship needed to capture the unsettling nature of the character. Once WWE contacts a belt maker with their needs, they collaborate on sketches and concepts. A belt typically has several main components: the leather strap, a center plate featuring the company logo and title name, and 2 or 4 side plates. After a back-and-forth process to finalize all details, the craftsman creates the final sketches and begins the real work. The first major step is creating models for the metal plates. The artist starts by hand sculpting soft clay into a highly detailed 3D model of each plate. This initial clay model captures all the intricate details of the design. After the clay dries and hardens, plaster is used to form a mold around it. Once this plaster mold solidifies, it can be separated from the clay, creating a negative impression. This plaster negative is then used to make a soft metal model, typically using aluminum or another easy-to-work alloy. The artist spends considerable time cleaning and perfecting this metal model, sharpening details and smoothing edges. This refined model becomes the template for creating the final mold used in casting the actual plates. The plates themselves are typically cast from molten tin. The liquid metal is poured into the mold and allowed to completely cool and solidify, but this is far from the final product. The freshly cast plates have rough edges and shallow details that need extensive refinement. This is where the true craftsmanship comes in. Belt makers spend hours hand refining each plate. They use files, chisels, and specialized tools to sharpen the details, carve out lettering, and smooth any imperfections. For details that couldn't be included in the casting process, like very small or sharp elements, separate pieces are crafted and attached to the main plate. Every single element is refined by hand to create the perfect surface before moving to the next stage. The tin plates might be sturdy, but they don't have the prestigious look that a championship belt needs. This is where electroplating comes in. First, the plates undergo thorough cleaning to remove any dirt or metal shavings. Then, they're polished to a high shine using a rotating buffing wheel. For the actual plating, the tin pieces are placed in an electrolyte solution while connected to an electrical circuit. This process slowly deposits a perfect layer of precious metal onto the surface. Most WWE belts are gold-plated, but silver or rhodium might also be used. For belts with multiple metal tones, different sections are covered during separate plating stages to create a two-tone effect. After plating, it's time for decorative elements. WWE Championship belts use several techniques to add visual interest. Etching uses chemicals to create textured areas on the metal surface. Enamel painting involves applying special paint to certain sections and then baking it to create a durable, colorful finish. But perhaps the most eye-catching decoration is the addition of gemstones. WWE belts often feature crystals set into molded cavities in the metal plates. These add sparkle and dimension to the design. More valuable championships might feature more precious stones. The Crown Jewel Championships reportedly contain 50-carat diamonds, making them the most expensive belts in WWE history. With the plates finished, attention turns to the leather strap that will hold everything together. The belt maker traces the shape onto high-quality leather and carefully cuts it out using specialized tools. The leather is then dyed to the desired color, typically black, though some titles like the Universal Championship famously used red leather. After dyeing, the leather is waxed and polished to create a beautiful, durable exterior. For comfort, an inner lining of spandex or felt is added to make the belt comfortable against the wrestler's skin. These layers are stitched together along with any additional leather details before the metal plates are attached. The plates can be secured to the leather using thick leather-working string or industrial-strength adhesive. Once attached, the maker adds the closing mechanism, either buckles or snap hooks, depending on the design. High-grade vinyl is often added to complete the outer edges of the belt. Finally, the maker brands the inside with both WWE's logo and their own insignia before packing it for delivery. What many fans don't realize is that multiple copies of each belt design exist. WWE creates what they call HD belts, specifically designed to look perfect on television under bright lights. These capture every detail beautifully on camera, but champions also receive separate travel belts to take with them on the road for appearances, signings, and events. According to Milliken, HD belts still take their share of abuse, and when a new one is made or refurbished, the previous one usually drops down to being what is used on the road. This explains why sometimes we might see belts with wrong plates or slight differences on TV. The pristine HD version hasn't been shipped to the venue in time. The entire process of creating a championship belt takes weeks or even months of painstaking work. It's this combination of traditional craftsmanship and modern materials that makes WWE championship belts such impressive pieces of art. So, how much do these belts actually cost in dollars? Well, a standard WWE Championship belt costs anywhere from $10,000 to $40,000 to produce. That's because of the high-quality materials, precious metals, and hundreds of hours of skilled craftsmanship that go into each one. The most expensive belts in WWE history are the Crown Jewel Championships, which reportedly contain 50-carat diamonds and are valued at over $1 million. These belts are so valuable that champions aren't even allowed to take them home. They're kept in Saudi Arabia, and winners receive rings instead. But the true value of championship belts goes far beyond their price tag. In wrestling storytelling, belts are the ultimate prize that everything revolves around. Almost every major storyline eventually leads to a title match. The championship makes matches feel more important, adds stakes to rivalries, and gives wrestlers something tangible to fight for. Title changes mark the biggest moments in wrestling history. When Hulk Hogan body-slammed Andre the Giant and won the WWF Championship at WrestleMania 3, it created an iconic moment. When Stone Cold Steve Austin defeated The Rock at WrestleMania 15, the belt symbolized his rise to the top. These belt-winning moments live forever in fans' memories. The belt also tells you who the company believes in. The person holding the belt is usually someone WWE sees as a top star who can carry the company. Bruno Sammartino's 7-year title reign showed how much WWE valued him as their centerpiece. When stars like Cody Rhodes dethrone top guys like Roman Reigns to win their first world championship, it signals WWE's confidence in the future of these stars. For wrestlers, holding the belt means they've made it. Many wrestlers talk about dreaming of becoming champions since childhood. The belt represents validation of years of sacrifice and hard work. That moment when they finally win the big one often brings real tears. WWE often changes belt designs to signal new eras or refresh championships. The introduction of the spinner belt marked the John Cena era, while the current WWE Championship design reflected a more corporate, global brand image. Sometimes belts are retired for special reasons, like when AEW retired the Red TNT Championship in honor of the late Brody Lee.
To you and your family, the TNT champion for life.
For fans, championship belts create emotional connections. That's why replica belts sell so well. Fans want to hold a piece of that glory. When your favorite wrestler finally wins the big one after a long journey, that belt represents their triumph and your loyalty as a fan. The customizable side plates introduced in 2013 allow each champion to personalize their belt, making each reign unique. This small detail adds personality to the championship and makes each new champion's victory feel special. So the next time you see a championship belt raised high after a match, remember, it's not just a fancy prop. It's a handcrafted piece of art that represents wrestling's greatest prize, tells the story of its era, and carries the legacy of everyone who fought for it. Speaking of eras, check out this video next, where we dive deep into the complete history of WWE and take a look at every WWE era. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.